Greetings. This is Arvette McLean of Speak, the Universe Listens.
We cherish that. We love that particular piece of it because
teach people like, hey, it's okay, change.
New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
Greetings and welcome to today's episode of Speak, the Universe Listens. And today's topic is You Be the Judge. And I have Stephen joining me.
Hey.
Rodney.
Hey.
And Teron.
Hey.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good. So this topic about judging, that's what this is all about, judging, judgment. I have mentioned judging and judgment and all of that on the show quite a few times because of the importance of how when we remove judgment from our life, when we practice removing being judgmental, it drastically changes the quality of our lives. But a lot of times you can talk about something and you can understand it in your brain, but when you try to put it into action, you kind of understand it in a different way. So recently, Rodney had said that Big Sean credits Deepak Chopra's book, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, to his own success. And because Big Sean
not true.
is interested in this book, he decided to read it. Now, how many times have I mentioned this book on this show?
Only every other episode.
Yeah.
But since Big Sean,
No.
but it doesn't matter why. I'm just glad that you have taken the book and embraced the book. But Rodney was sharing some interesting stuff with me. So share a little bit about judgment.
Yes, I clear that up. I always wanted the book, but now I'm in a space where I can receive the book. And I seen Big Sean say it, and he reminded me of it. But anyway, yeah. So one of the first chapters in the book is talking about being pure. What was it called again?
Potentiality.
Pure intentionality. Yes, that's what it is. So, and basically one of the things he said to put that in place was, today choose not to judge. So I was listening to the book, early in the morning driving. I was like, all right, today I'm going to choose not to judge anything. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to put that into place today. So it just was eye-opening how much we judge on a day-to-day, like just simple things. Somebody walking across the street, well, why they got that on? Why they walking like that? Like we just judge every single thing, and I'm finding myself like, because my intention was on it, I'm finding myself like, dang, we judge every little thing that we see all throughout the day. So yeah, it was very eye-opening because we all like know on the surface, like, yeah, you shouldn't judge.
Right.
Morally you shouldn't judge, but when you never realize how much you actually judge. And so I think doing that was kind of mind blowing for me, that I was judging that much. I'm like, dang, I judge all this all day like this. Hey, am I a bad person? I'm just
You're like, dang, I'm judging everybody.
Hey, but putting my focus on it really showed me how much we judge on a day. And I realized, how can I love everything if I'm judging everything?
So that it made you more aware of how much on an everyday basis.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like I said, like, you know you shouldn't judge,
Right.
but you don't really realize how much you actually judge things.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. You know, I find myself doing it like sometimes, and it's interesting because it wasn't until just now that I realized I legit judge everything. Even when I say I like something, I'm judging it. I'm just not calling it judgment because it happens to be in alignment with what I think I wanted at that time.
Right.
So it's like a learning to accept everything as is. Like, I want to look at these flowers and just let these flowers be the flowers, instead of like, oh, you know, I like it, but you know, I wish it was red, not pink, or I like pink, so I like these better than regular roses. No, to just, the flower is the flower and I'm me, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I also realized that when we're in that state and when we're in the state of judging everything, it doesn't allow you to be present in the moment, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I'm worried about how this moment can be different, or what this can be different, that can be different. You know, like, it doesn't allow you to be present in the moment, I feel.
Exactly.
I just came up with that too.
That's
I
perfect.
just realized that.
Yeah, and that's the thing with judging everything. It creates so much chatter in your brain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can't hear. You can't hear spirit talking to you because it's something in your ear at all times. Chatter, chatter, chatter.
I remember just being in a space of like where you was at when you read the book, just not judging, right, and being aware, like, okay, I'm not going to judge, right. And when I first started doing it, I was just I was in a really good space because I was really aware of, like you were saying, I'm judging people. And so I had people come up to me and they talking to me and they telling me about Tom over there and what they got going on and so forth and so forth. And at one time, I'll probably listen to them and be like, oh yeah, for real. But I was just more in the space of like, okay, I'm listening to you. I'm not agreeing with you. I hear you. But I wasn't judging though. And it felt really like, it felt good. And then I noticed that by me being in that space, I think my energy was gravitating to people, and they started to notice, like, hey, okay, I could tell him about this situation, or I could talk to him about somebody else, but yet they don't say nothing else about them. I could tell him, hey, they did this to me, but yet they don't, you know, they don't bite on it. So I noticed that energy sort of gravitates to other people that do judge, and I'm not saying that I don't judge. I mean, everybody does, and I'm aware when I do, and it's a constant work. But yeah, that's something that I noticed though.
I think also when you judging, when your intention is to not judge, you focus on not judging. I think you automatically see the good in everything, and when you see that, it kind of puts you in a space of being grateful for everything. It's like, yeah, I'm not judging this person. I'm grateful that I'm experiencing them right now and who they are, you know. So it's like, I think you just see the good in everything when you're not judging.
Yeah, and I think that's what's most interesting about judgment to me, honestly. You know, is we judge typically because we want things to be more like ourselves or more like what we want. And I don't know. Like, I just want to leave that there for a second. We're judging because we want things to be more like us. But if we remove the judgment, then we instantly see that we're all the same. We're all connected. So it's like I'm causing a divide between us, wanting to be closer to you. Like, it's backwards to me.
And it's like, who are you to say this supposed to be like this?
Right.
Like, who made these rules?
Right.
Like, you know, so I think like what you're saying is we got to take away the judge because we don't tell how they're supposed to be. Like, that's not our job to do that.
I think that will help a lot in the world and society today, especially like where we at. You know, I think if we took away the judgment, the society which we live in now, I think it would be a lot much better. I mean, we wouldn't have much hate, we would have more love. You know, I think people would be more on a high vibration versus that, you know, well, you should be, you know, I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat, or I'm a Christian and you're a Muslim. And it's like, you know, it's a judgment factor on everything that we do. And I think when you take that judgment away, it will really be, I think it will be a different place. You know, we'll be in a different place.
It's almost like I'm accepting this for what it is, or I'm accepting you for who you are,
right?
Instead of judging what you appear to me to be.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's judgment's also a little hypocritical. Well, I think of myself as a hypocrite a little every time I judge, because I can't in one breath say, you know, it's a million ways to do something, but then also look at you and say, nah, you know, you can't tie your shoe that way. You gotta do it this way. Like, I can't tell you it's a million ways, and then immediately when you show me a different way, I go, well, no, you're doing everything wrong. So is it a million ways or not?
Y'all hit on some key stuff. Like, I like what Rodney said about if I'm judging you, then how am I loving you?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think, I can't remember which one of y'all said it, but I think Teron said about when you're judging something, you're separating yourself from that thing. And one thing Stephen always says is, you're both right.
Right.
You know, because, and it's not necessarily a moral issue, like that to judge is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's more if I'm the same as you and I'm judging you, then it's like I'm judging me, right? And no matter what energy you put out to someone else, or you think you're putting out to somebody else, it still has to pass through your body first. So if I'm thinking a negative thought about anything, I'm creating negative energy within my body. And so it's like it has a lot of ramifications, right? So, but the main thing is, if we recognize that each and everything that we see is a part of the divine, no matter how it looks to us, if we can keep that in mind, that this is a part of the divine, and that it's okay that it looks like that, even though to us it doesn't look right, then we can step back from judgment. And just, so for me, that was the easiest way for me to step back from it. Now, of course, you know, I'm still rampant, you know, but anytime I can remember, okay, this is a divine being, that means it can't be wrong. It can't be wrong. God is not wrong. And so just because my brain, my limited self, cannot figure out how is this going to work out right in the long run, or why is this okay, and you know, how does this fit into the perfect universal plan, that doesn't mean that it isn't so. And so stepping back, recognizing each person is part of the divine, that is what allows me to not judge.
Yeah, I try to put myself in the space of where you are, but you know, just not, when I look at people out of love, you know, not out of judgment, not thinking about, you know, you're different from me, you know, and I don't really think like that. I just like to sit back and continue to be in the space of love, and hopefully it spreads to the next person and take away their judgment.
It's this man who, I'm not going to say every morning, but I'm going to say like 60% of the mornings, ever since maybe like a month prior to the election, all the way up until the present, he's been having these signs supporting Donald Trump. And then now his new signs say FUCK Biden, right? And so he has these signs and he stands on this overpass that's overlooking the highway 95. You seen them?
I seen them. I was like, really?
Yeah, so he has all kinds of signs. He has like big highway signs that's lit up in lights. He has big flags. He has banners. He has all kinds of stuff. And so he does all kinds of, when I say he does all kinds of stuff, he does all kinds of stuff like hanging the flags over the expressway and stuff like that. So the police are always up there saying, listen, you can't do it like that. So he'd be like, oh, they say I can't do it like this, but they ain't tell me I couldn't do it like that, you know. And so a lot of people, so I'm up there where he is. I'm not on the highway. I'm like with him. So I park where he's parked. And so when I first started seeing him, he had signs that say "Make America Great Again," but he would never speak to me. And I'm like, this is opposite. You're saying "Make America Great," so is this great that you don't even speak to the people who's standing right in front of you? So, but like he never did, and he was like he had this chip on his shoulder, and that every person, not every person, but I would say at least 70-80% of the people who would come by walking past him, they would be like, he's crazy, and can you believe that, and he doesn't have anything better to do with his time. And so people are like have a lot of negative energy surrounding him, and so in return, you know, he's kind of negative as well. And so I would just be tickled. Like everything he does, it kind of tickles me, and I'm just like, wow, he really is passionate about what he's doing. And so, but then when he changed his sign, so one sign says FUCK Biden, but now the sign, he has a sign that says FUCK Biden and FUCK everybody who voted.
Good God, he is on it.
Or whatever. So of course I'm like, you know, is his intention? What is his intention? You know. But the point being, you know, I have. Like, I'll be like, why is he, it's like he's going about his message the wrong way. So that's me judging it. So when I'm like, okay, I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on, he is innovative, you know, he's persistent, you know, whatever. So that's kind of like the energy I've been putting out. And so he goes out of his way to speak to me now. Like, he literally goes out of his way. And I've never, you know, I've never said anything to him or whatever. But when he see me, he'll pull his mask down and he'll be like, good morning, or whatever. So it's just really interesting to watch how, like, when you project a certain energy, it melts the people around you. And you don't have to do anything. You just are being.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of times, if we feel uncomfortable about a situation we're going into, or uncomfortable about people in a room we may be going into, and already we judging what that room or what that situation is going to be. So when you already coming from a place of judgment, it's like most of the time that situation is going to end up negative because I'm already judging the situation before I get there, and that it's going to be negative. I'm saying that it's going to be negative, or, you know, instead of coming into it not judging, but being open to love in the room or in a situation.
And I had, it made me think of the story you was telling, Arvette. I had a scenario at work, working with a fellow contractor, and we were just talking, and we were talking about, like, politics and just, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement and just so forth. And, you know, topics like that sort of ruffle people's feathers a little bit. And I think in that space, after our conversation, he was a little bit surprised because he had one perception of me already. Like, he judged me just off of what he thought that I was going to say. But when I said something totally different, it was like, oh wow, and it sort of is like it's just guard went down a little bit, and then we were just talking, and even though that we didn't agree on everything, like he had his opinion and I had my opinion, but we were still in the same space, and it was just like good conversation, good vibe, and an intelligent conversation. But it was like, wow, you know, he was like, okay, he was like, I like that conversation we had, man. I was like, I like it too.
Everything seemed more genuine.
Yeah,
with
everything.
no judgment.
Right, everything seemed more genuine. I think, like I said, a lot of people would just judge you just like that without even knowing you. So if we can get to the space of just not judging people at all and continue to generate that type of energy on a daily basis, like I said, I think we can make a change. If it's just one little change, we can possibly make a change.
Agreed. So thank you, Rodney, for resurfacing this conversation. It's like I say, and this is with anything really, like a lot of stuff, concepts we talk about here, but until we put them into practice, they may not be real to us. It's just, you kind of understand it, but you know, but when you start practicing these things, then you'll see changes occur.
And I would like to add to that, by practicing these things, like the way I'm looking at me setting my intention on not judging is like, hey, if I can wake up in the morning and the first day I put my intention on not judging, I make it to 8 a.m. Then the next day, a week later, I might make it to lunch. Then I might make it to dinner time. And now I'm living my life like this. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
That's a good way.
Like just keep going at it. Keep putting your attention on not judging.
Right.
Yeah, and I think I would say, if it's challenging for you to like even get to because sometimes have situations where it's hard for you to remove that judgment. So I would just challenge you to, if you're gonna judge, at least try and find one thing that you do like, and then build off that, and then you could get to that place of, well, if I could feel this way about you, then I don't have to feel this way about you either, and you can at least remove the negativity.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, this is Arvette.
This is Steven.
Right?
Teron.
Bye.